Welcome to the HBCU podcast. We'll be joined by some awesome HBCU grads in the form of co-host and guest for this podcast. Just so you know, the HBCU podcast comes from our love of historically Black colleges and universities. So often we get information related to our university students, but we rarely get a look into the great things our alumni are doing. On this episode, we speak with Jamal Josef. He's a graduate of Voorhees College. Jamal is a dancer and choreographer. He recently choreographed Beyonce's acclaimed 2018 Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival performance. During this episode, we discuss his HBCU experience, his career in entertainment, his blossoming dance ministry, and working with the legendary Beyonce. Keep listening. It's the HBCU podcast.
Hi, my name is Jamal Rashid. I am a 2010 graduate of Voorhees College in Denmark, South Carolina.
So, Jamal, thank you so much for being a part of the podcast. I greatly appreciate your time.
Yeah, no problem.
So, I know you've been a hot commodity, here lately, and not that you probably haven't been all your life, but you're starting to become, of course, rising household name with your recent work with the Queen Beyonce. But we're going to just kind of backtrack really quickly. Tell me a little bit about Voorhees College, your major, and how that kind of even transitioned into what you're doing right now.
So Voorhees College, wow. Well, my major was mass communications, so it was very different. My degree was actually like one of those degrees that I was like, it's for my parents. I just, they need something to be proud of, and that was just something for them. And then I ended up saying to myself that I wanted to, I knew I always wanted to dance, but I ended up using my major as a way to help me dance. Like, I would go to different ballet studios or hip hop studios, and I'm like, hey, let me make your press releases, or let me make your flyers or whatever in exchange for free class. Cause, I was just getting out of college. I didn't have no money. I was working a job. I was working at like IHOP or something. I was like, yeah, can I do this? And so in exchange, they would give me like free ballet lessons or free modern or whatever the style was. And then I would just meet people, and then they'd be like, hey, come take my class, come take my class. And so I was able to start to get my foot in the door. And that's kind of how I've used my major, like the PR, marketing myself, advertising myself to this community to make people say like, hey, I want to work with you, or, I like your energy.
Awesome. And you've been doing that, and, we're offering services in exchange for dancing while you were in LA, or was that in South Carolina?
That was, so in South Carolina, it was a little different. While I was in college, I actually had a teacher. Well, she wasn't a teacher, but she was a staff member there, and she would talk to me about her dance career and stuff. And one day we were having a conversation, and she asked me like the question if, and I was like, oh, that's like a famous Greek poem. And I was like, okay. And then but she said, no, like, what if one day you wake up and you realize that you never lived your dream, or like you're watching these people dance on stage and you just like, man, I didn't try, or man, I didn't give it a shot because I was too afraid, or I was too this, or I was too that. You made all these excuses. And she was like, what if you just stopped living for everybody else? And I started crying, and I was like, okay, cool. And so then she said, if you gave to your career as much as you give to your fraternity, you would be a good dancer. Like, you would be really good. And that was like, not to say don't give to the organization. It was just,
Right.
I was at every probate, every party. I was at, I was chapter president, stepmaster. I was doing pageants. I was like district level, regional level. And she was just like, if you gave to them as much as to your career, just see where you could go. So she would give me like ballet lessons and stuff like privately. And then I had
Nice.
another teacher who used to dance took classes at Alien. So he would give me like little modern classes and stuff like that. And then I was over the dance team there, and I would actually come over there and dance with Claflin, and I was a part of the model troupe, and we would
Whoop
do like
whoop.
stuff together and everything like that. And after that, I just started to dance with other people. Like I had a frat brother who danced at Benedict, and we would go places, and I just started to dance and
Just making an HBCU network.
yeah, pretty much. And after that, I said, okay, cool. So I then moved to Atlanta, and that's where I started to say like, okay. I had one teacher. He was like, "You're not thinking outside the box." I was like, "No, I am. I don't have no money. I can't do this. I can't do this." I was like, "Where's all this money in college?" Because I had money in college. And I was like, "It's that refund check." But after that, that's how I thought outside the box, and I just connected with people in my fraternity and who were in my major, and they were like, "Hey, I know this person. They dance. I know this person," and then they just started to connect me.
That's
And then
awesome.
when I moved to New York, I actually had frat brothers who were dancers professionally.
Hmm.
And then I had a cousin, he danced for like Michael and Janet and everybody else. So he like walked me into the studio and was like, "Hey, everybody, this is my cousin." And then everyone was like, "Okay, cool. So you're going to take class." And so
That's
that's
dope.
what happened.
Nice. So you have just continued to talk about how connected you are with your fraternity brothers, but you didn't even mention the great, illustrious fraternity that you're a part of.
Oh,
So
yes. I am a part of the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
that's all right. Great to have you here, Frat. Now, I loved how much you talked about your fraternity and your brothers, the brotherhood, and just networking in general, which seems very, very important in a business like yours. But as quick as you can, how this led you to Coachella and, doing what you did with Beyonce and her great performance.
It's so weird. So, like, I actually like when I first got out here, I met this guy who um he is my frat brother, and so we did Jennifer Lopez's World of Dance show on NBC. We did that together.
I remember that.
We did season one, and so then, but I also met this guy Chuck Maldonado, who like he choreographed Stump the Yard. He did Usher. He did Chris Brown. Like he's done so Kanye. He's done a lot of people. Missy, and he's a Kappa. And he went to North Carolina A&T, and he was like, "Man, like just come to my class. I'll look for like he looks out for Greeks before he
Hmm.
looks out for. He's like, it's all about Greeks and HBCUs. We got to stick together."
I love
So
that.
every time I would go somewhere, they were like, "Yeah, man, like this is the community." And so then I started meeting other Greeks who were dancers, and I was like, I mean, Qs, Sigmas. I was like, wait, there's Qs who are dancers. Like this is different. Like
Shattering the
so
stereotype, right?
right, like it was so different. So as that went on, it made it an easier connection. People, oh, when you cross and stuff like that, and so then, as I started to do more jobs, I never wanted to be known for stepping because I was like, I can dance. But
Hmm.
um, a lot of people were like, you got to use your strong suit until they pay attention to you, and then go from there. So I ended up saying to myself that I was going to just use it, and I actually didn't even know about the Beyonce audition. I um I had a frat brother of mine who was like, he was calling, like bugging me on my phone, and I was like, what's happening? And so I called him back, and I was like, "You good?" And he said, "Yeah, man. Like, what are you doing tomorrow?" I was just like, "Why the Beyonce audition? Somebody just mentioned it." He was like, "No, but I can't go. Go in my place."
Oh.
And so, and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Sure." And he was like, "Okay, you gotta do this, this." I was like, "Wait, tomorrow morning?"
Oh.
And he was like, "Yeah, like 10 a.m." Like, well, I was like, "What? Wait, okay." So like, I left the rehearsal. It was like I was getting out of rehearsal about 12, and I literally like I wasn't even supposed to be there. I kind of crashed the audition. And so I
Yes,
was
that's the way to make an
like,
entrance, though.
right.
Hey, I'm
So
not
I
supposed to be
kind
here, but
of, yeah. They were like, "Who invited you?" I was like, okay. Yeah. So and then I was there. And then I actually went first, and which was crazy. And then I did the audition, and so then like, one day I just got a call, and that was it.
nice. So I'm asking you, of course, I know you have, the last time we chatted, there were things you could and couldn't say, but just how has this experience, kind of compared to all the other things that you've done? Because I know you've mentioned that you've worked on stages with J-Lo, and you've done, so many other things in the dance realm, but how does this particular experience stack up?
It's different because now I think people are actually paying attention to like my vision. They're like,
Hmm.
oh, he is really doing it. Like, oh, like he's not just out there like, um so I think it was like a wake up call for people.
Hmm.
It sucks that it has to be that way, because now people want to be your friend and all those things. But,
Right.
I know the people who were there when I was like, I ain't got no place to stay and I'm on somebody's couch. Like, those type of friends who were like, all right, man, I'll slip you like $50. Like, just stuff like, just always there. So, it is very interesting in that case. But now, I mean, like, it's even challenging me
Hmm.
because, as a dancer, I think I was getting complacent and I was like, oh, okay, like, I'm good. So now I have to rise above that.
The
Like, yeah,
expectations.
like even now, it's just like, okay, like I'm doing 2-a-days in the gym now. I'm like rebranding my whole, like everything. Like, okay, like get your website, get this. Like now you are a brand, you are a business. And I would advise people to build those things prior to. A lot of times we like to wait until it happens so that
Right.
we can feel like we have something to do instead of just being like, you know what, this is already here. Now I can just really move. But it's cool too because it makes you want to push yourself a little bit harder. But now I'm like, all right, I'm ready to work.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, there are like people hitting me up. I know that I'm starting to work with a few more quote unquote big names.
Hmm.
Um, Within the upcoming weeks, I'm really excited. They just emailed me today. I was like, "Oh my god, I want to do a video with you," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, great." So there's that, and like some people from Love and Hip Hop who I might be choreographing a video for, and just
Okay.
other things. Like, but it's also making me say like, okay, like find out the type of dancer that you want to be and how you
Right.
want to do everything. So pushing myself like these next 6 months is like my pushing training period.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So as a dancer, because you just said kind of like finding dance, do you have to have a niche, if you will, as a
Yeah, I
dancer?
think that everybody has their niche. Everyone does. Everyone does. Mine just so happens to be stepping, meaning that I have like a lot of power and precision
Hmm.
in terms of the way that I move, but I'm also a very fluid mover because I did do a lot of contemporary, so that can work in my favor. But there are some people who are just amazing with musicality. Like I have friends who they can watch it one time and then they have it, and I mean like watching it sitting down, not even doing it, and they just walk in like, I have some friends who will walk in a class an hour late and catch the whole combo. I'm like, wait,
That's a
who
gift.
are you? Like, like, yeah, it is. Like, but it takes practice. I can walk in and catch after like 3 8 counts. Like, I
Hmm.
could be like, oh, okay, I caught up. But it's different, just finding out you because people sometimes don't want to see that you can do what they see on Instagram. They want to see you as a dancer and a mover. And dance is starting to look a lot alike. Like I look at videos and I'm like, this all looks like trash. Like everybody moves the same, and
Yeah.
like it's like watching a Greek step show. You like, oh, so everybody had the same theme this year. Oh, like everybody, like it just gets boring to where you're like, okay, like are you guys gonna do something different? So
Hmm.
that part has been like definitely something that is opening my eyes, um, dance wise.
Okay.
So
So just finding what your niche is and just
yeah.
really, really honing in on that. Another thing I definitely want to ask you about, currently you are working on, also in conjunction with all the things you're doing and all the great folks you'll be working with, your dance ministry, Eden Dance Ministry. What can you tell us about that?
So that started because I've always felt like I was called by God to do something with dance or whatever, but a lot of times I go into these jobs and like I'm in rehearsals with, sometimes really big names and sometimes names that are on their way up,
Hmm.
and it And it amazes me because I'm not starstruck, and I think sometimes they think that I'm looking at them because I am, but I'm like, no, I'm trying to study you and study your motive, and like I'll be studying the creative directors. I make people very uncomfortable, but
Oh
I'm
gosh.
like,
Oh, you're that person.
yeah, I'm that person. I'm like, what is your intention? Like, what is this for? So, I honestly was like, hey, like, let me, like, I would talk to my friends and people were like, oh my God, but it's so and so. You're in here with so and so. Be blessed. And I was just like, is that a blessing? Or is that just like, this is my job? And
Hmm.
a lot of times I looked at things like my job. So it was like, I would go to rehearsal and I'm like, okay, thank you, God. Thank you. Oh my God, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Thank you, God. And it's like we say those things, but what are we thankful for? Because that's a gift that I'm giving to the world and I'm like making people entertained because that's people's definition of success.
Hmm.
And when you have your own definition of success, that could be like, I want to be a janitor because I just love to help people and I like to clean. Like that could be your definition of success. And
Right.
to somebody else, that's like, why would you do that? And there are those people who are like, I love to serve, and that's the way that I choose. And so for me, I was performing at the Stellar Awards and with the Walls Group, and I was like, dancing on stage, and I was like, it just felt so good to be free and say like, I get to dance, and I get to serve like the one who gave me this gift.
Hmm.
And at that point, I was like, you know what, I want my own ministry because I'm not gonna say that I hate. I just don't always like watching praise dancers because it's a little dramatic and boring. But I'm like, I get it because that's what's taught.
You're ready to
And
get in
I'm
some
like,
swag.
yeah, I'm like, let's start teaching you guys how to expand movement and get out of the white skirts and purple ribbons and stuff. Like, let's actually give this gift and this talent, and I think that a lot of people are afraid to do it because they don't know how they're going to be perceived, or the gospel industry doesn't make as much money. So now it's like I want to build my company that can do that and that can choreograph for those gospel artists, and people are excited to serve God, and they can still do their industry jobs, but it is important that we have a place
Hmm.
that we can do that.
Yeah. Congratulations. That's amazing. And I mean, I think a lot of people probably have been scared because it's uncharted territory. Like
Yeah.
no one is talking about, changing the dance ministry in that way. So you have currently a GoFundMe or a fundraiser rather for Eden Dance Ministry. Is that something you're still encouraging people to sow
Oh
into?
yes, I am definitely telling people to sow into it because I want to get my 501c3 by like next week. And logos and stuff are already in the process of being made and all those things. So yeah, I definitely want to encourage people if you can, but sometimes donating doesn't always mean financially.
Hmm.
That's like I can connect you with these churches or come to my church, or like there are other ways that you can give. And so your gift might be you could build a website or make really good logos, or that might be your donation. So however you can, that's what I look for.
Awesome. So, for those of you who are listening, what we'll do is leave the link in the show notes as well as the link on the hbcupodcast.com so that you can follow it and connect and sow into the ministry any way that you can. So, I definitely always ask everyone how they actually landed at their HBCU, and then what are some of their favorite memories about their particular HBCU, because I'm really curious to know how you made it to Denmark, South Carolina.
Listen, trapped, tricked. I saw that brochure and I was like, oh, there's flowers and everything. So I actually I knew I was gonna go to school. I think I was looking at UNT or U of H or something like that. Okay, I was at church and then this guy came up to me and he was like, hey, like, I know your dad is a pastor here, and you would be like a really good asset, to this school. And he was working there. So
Hmm.
he asked me, would I, take a look at it. So I looked at it and I was like, okay, cool. So I applied and, they accepted me and stuff like that. I had got a choir scholarship and I played tennis.
Okay.
So I had a tennis scholarship and um, I had an academic scholarship. So everything was pretty much paid for. And I was like, well, that's free money. Let's just go
That's always
do
a
it. And I
plus.
was like, I'm at a black school. I'm close to Charleston and Charlotte and Florida's right there. And I was like, Atlanta. I was like, oh, this is about to be the life. And I got there and I said, wait, my service is not working in none of these buildings.
Oh, the shade.
I was like, this is something ain't right. And so my dad was like, well, this is your school. I said, no, it's not. Turn around. And so then they were like, I was like, okay, well, let me go buy some stuff for my room or whatever. And then I was like, where's the mall? And they was like, oh, this is the mall over here. I said, that's a shopping center. That is not the mall. And so they was like, the nearest one, like, you got to go to Walmart in Orangeburg. I was like, Orangeburg? I was like, who names these towns? So then we asking people, where's Orangeburg? And they told me, I don't know. I ain't never been to Orangeburg. I said, what? How have you never been 20 minutes away? Yeah. And I was just like, where am I?
Shout out to Denmark, South Carolina.
I was like, where am I? Who trapped me? And I was like, I'm already here. So honestly, it was crazy because I got there. I was like, you know what? I was like, I don't want to be here. I ain't telling nobody my name. So I have this name. Everybody in college called me Cornbread. So that's like that's my name. I was like, so nobody knew me and everything like that. But the crazy thing is, they all thought I went to Claflin or Benedict because I was always there.
Oh boy!
And so like. Like I would see teachers on Claflin's campus, and then I actually got recruited after my freshman year. But then I was like, man, I want to pledge. Let me not do that because then ain't nobody gonna pick me at no new school. I'm gonna have to wait till my junior year to do this or my senior year. I was like, I already know these boys. I think I can get it. And
so you had a plan.
I had a whole plan. I told my parents, I was like, I'm going to school. I'm going to get above a 3.0. I'm going to graduate. I'm going to get this degree for you. I'm going to pledge. And then after that, I'm going to go dance. And
you did just that.
Yeah. But after that, I actually sat down with a friend and it was a lot of us who were from Atlanta and New York. We were all from really big cities. And we was like, you know what? Why are we going to schools where we're trying to adapt to their culture? Let's be the change here. And so we actually stayed and we made the school a very hot commodity to where other schools Claflin and Benedict and all those other schools and stuff, they were like, oh, we going to Voorhees. And people were like, for what? And they talk about, oh, y'all, day parties is what it is.
I've been to your homecoming on several occasions.
We be getting down with the get down in the country. It ain't nothing else to do but cow tipping. But I'm like, it was just really, really great, great experience. But some of my favorite memories was just all the Emmy Awards and the model troops, a lot of the events and stuff that I used to do, that I would spearhead was amazing to me, and it was a life lesson for me because I was in a place where I'm from a major city, and I'm from Oakland, and I should be living the life and malls and big city life, and I was like, wow, I have to just do nothing. And I think that was the most peaceful thing. I was able to find myself a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I was able to just build me without
interruption.
And then honestly, my favorite memory, and this is not because you went to Claflin, but it's my friends from Claflin. Those were the people who were my friends, who really, really got me through. I mean, of course, my friends from Voorhees, they were my friends for real.
Right.
But I'm talking about my 21st birthday, I remember the Deltas and AKAs, all of them came from their school and they had bought all these alpha gifts and everything. They was like, this is our favorite alpha on this campus. Like, thank you just so for being you. You come support all our parties, all of it. And it used to be like that. You know, I used to just be like, hey, like support everybody. Like the AKs was having a party at my school. I'm like, all right, I'm going to the Delta's party at Claflin first, and then I'm gonna come back to come to y'all's and just finish it out here. Or if y'all party whack, I'm gonna start here and then I'm gonna go to the Delta's party and finish it out there.
I
Like, you
love it
know,
that you told him that if your party was
always,
whack.
always. And so it was just like, it was so great to just get on the road and travel with people and like just meet new people from all different walks of life. And that was probably my favorite thing because we didn't have nothing to do.
Yeah, yeah. That's great. Those are awesome memories. So I know, again, we're wrapping up, and I definitely want to ask you this. What lessons have you taken away from your time at Voorhees? Because it seems like you had a chance to plan things and coordinate things that probably those type of skills or life skills have helped you, you know, in life or in your career thus far.
Yeah, it was honestly, if I didn't pledge, I probably wouldn't have made it out in life. I I would have probably gave up a long time ago, but it honestly made me say like, hey, okay, be the best you that you can be.
Mm-hmm.
It taught me how to network. It taught me how to make new friends. I learned like really how to multitask because when you're pledging and you're like, you know, you're doing your 18-hour load and you're still in your organizations, you're trying to be, you know, Alpha Phi Alpha is a non-hazing organization, but you're being very discreet that you are, but you're being discreet that you are filling out your application. It's like, you know, you are learning how to multitask all of those different walks of life that you already live and being a part of this organization. So I think that was a great thing for me, is to learn how to have better balance.
Mm-hmm.
And just really how to find genuine people who love you.
It just really
Just to
helped
find
your
people,
spirit of
yeah,
discernment.
yeah, like to just be like, oh, okay, cool. But I mean, I just learned like a lot of discipline, and I learned how to make something out of nothing. Like, you know, I could literally build a stage with $200 budget and make something look like it was amazing. So that is definitely something that I learned. I just always said like, whatever I have, like how can I make it look bigger than what it is?
Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay, now before we go, this is for real, the last question. I know you know she said that a few times, but if you had any advice for anyone who wants a career in dance, what advice would you give them? And then
Oh my God.
yeah.
Oh my God. It's so many. So it first would be make sure it's like pledging again too. You need to make sure you have a good name for yourself, have a good brand, have like your whole look, like really study these classes, make sure that you're gaining something from these classes, not just learning choreography. Make sure that they're actually teaching you, make sure that you are in a place where people are helping you grow. If you are spiritual, stay spiritually grounded because this industry can like rip you into shreds. And then also, I would say like start looking at who these people are, like who the major choreographers are. Like people say, I want to dance for this person,
Mm-hmm.
but like find out who's working with those people,
Do
like
your
who's
research.
choreographing, like yeah, doing that research of who's choreographing those videos, like knowing all styles, knowing ballet, knowing jazz, knowing tap, hip hop, like the more versatile you are, like, you know, use your Instagram, use it as your leverage. I don't like Instagram like that, but you know, sometimes I gotta use it because that's what's gonna get you the job. So knowing those things, I mean, there's so many things, like, but I would always tell people to feel free, you know, like to hit me up on my Instagram, Jamal Josef. You know, if you ever have any personal dance questions, I always answer questions because everybody's journey is different. Some people are like, I want to just do choreography. Some people
Mm-hmm.
are like, I want to do tours or I want to do movies. Like, the best jobs to do are the jobs that you get residuals on and things that you're gonna make
That's
money.
a good
Because
nugget there.
yeah, yeah, don't do a job like don't always just work for free all the time, and don't don't sell yourself short. Like, don't be like, oh my God, it's like, I can't say nobody's name, but like, oh my God, it's this person, and you're making like $100. Like, don't do that. Like, that's crazy. Like
Right.
I've done those type of jobs. But it's like, oh my God, I'm on TV and I'm making like $300 a week. Like, that's stupid. So know your worth.
Okay. So
Definitely.
these are great lessons. So you already have done a part of what I was going to ask you to, for everything that's going on with you or might be going on with you in the future, your initiatives, where can people find you?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Jamal Josef on everything.
Okay.
And I'm sorry it's getting loud because I'm walking into a rehearsal.
No, I love that. So, again, thank you for being here on the HBCU podcast. We'll definitely share all of your information in the show notes as well as on the website. And I love that we're talking to you and you're rushing right into a job or a rehearsal, because that's what you do. So thank you for being with us.
No problem.
Thank you so much for listening to the HBCU podcast. We have so much more HBCU content on the way, so make sure you subscribe to the podcast, rate the podcast, and visit us at thehbcupodcast.com. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at thehbcupodcast. Like us on Facebook. We love you for listening. Until next time.